days. Those were the good old days. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We're live. Just making sure
We have sound. I can hear you singing.
all my feeds are working while my other computer reboots. Avenger
And we buffer.
Pretenders. 8 o'clock.
And we buffer.
We're buffering. Doesn't look like we're
Mm,
buffering.
yeah, we buffered.
I got 0% dropped frames.
I'm just saying, we was buffer.
So yay to that.
Yeah.
Let's
Mr. Big
see.
Tank.
We're on Facebook. Hello, Big Tank. Hello, hello. We're ready. All right. So we got to do a hard stop at 9 o'clock. So we're gonna get right down to the nitty gritty, folks. JT, bring us in.
In 3, 2, 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Avenger Pretenders. This week, we will step outside of the MCU for one more week. Why? Because we are doing the review of Episode 7 of the Book of Boba Fett, which is the end of Season 1.
Yeah.
So, grab your popcorn, grab your adult beverages, wrap yourself up in that nice cozy robe, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sully, take it away.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Avenger Pretenders. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful intro, JT. The wonderful intro. As he said, we are talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7, and boy, woo, was that a Chapter 7.
Did I freaking call it or what?
Oh, just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. But then again, there was a lot of things that we called.
I beat that son of a bitch down.
A lot of things that we called. And let me tell you, that was probably one of the greatest episodes that we've seen. You know? First and foremost, before we get into it, there was a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but there was a lot of backfire.
A lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke and mirrors and people complaining and all of that wonderful good stuff about Robert Rodriguez and him touching Star Wars. So,
you know what? Honestly, this whole series has had a different feel to it.
It really did.
And it was nice. It was outside of the normal realm of what you would feel with Star Wars.
Yes.
But it was a nice change. It didn't make it feel foreign.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it was still good.
You're absolutely right. And the one thing that you gotta understand, they wanted this to feel more like a Western.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And it did all the way up into the frickin' spider bot machine gun thingies.
Yeah, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that because we've seen those droids before. You know, we've seen them in the prequels. We've seen them in the in Clone Wars. We've seen those type of droids before with the shields and but that's neither here nor there. The biggest thing is that most people were complaining that Robert Rodriguez destroyed the last episode. He should never have touched it, and so on and so forth. Now, these, and I can't really say that it's 100% all Star Wars fans because it's not. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, but I've heard about this type of thing with Robert Rodriguez." And listen, if you've ever seen the El Mariachi, let's see, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, they're Westerns. In Mexico, they blow shit up. That's what happens. And to be honest, it's one of Robert Rodriguez's best films that are out there. And he's got a lot of great films. this isn't just him.
Right.
He directed it, but you got to remember, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni wrote the entire season. So
And probably sat there and said, you know what, that doesn't work. We need to change that.
right. He could have said that, and he didn't. So the episode opens up on Mos Espa as Boba Fett and Fennec Shan are standing in the sanctuary, the destroyed sanctuary from the last episode, where pretty much just about everybody probably died.
Boom.
Obviously, we didn't see any bodies around, so they cleaned it out and all that good stuff.
I would hope so.
and as they're looking around, Din Djarin and a couple of the what is it, the cyborgs there, the
City kids.
yeah, they come into the sanctuary, and Din Djarin tells them that they spoke with the marshal of Freetown and that they're going to get a garrison and they're going to come fight and all this other good stuff. And basically just so they can end that spice trade, which is the biggest issue that's going on right now. So from there, some things have to happen. What are they? Are they mods? Sorry, mods. Yes, mods.
There you go.
It just popped in my head. Yay. So they decided that they should wait for reinforcements to come back at the palace. And Boba Fett went, no, it's too easy. We want them right here in Mos Espa. And Mos Espa looked like it was completely deserted.
It did.
Yeah,
Very little signs of life.
very, very little signs of life, which worked. It worked. So from there, we see a familiar face walking from pretty much around the corner. We see an old school showdown pop up with Cad Bane, arriving in Mos Eisley to say to the Pikes, hey, listen, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Simple as that. You're going to be fine. But we also noticed that the mayor of Mos Espa is there.
Mm.
And
No, he was there the whole time. He never left.
yeah, no, he was there the whole time. He's not off-world. We knew he wasn't off-world. Really? A vacation? I believe he said it was a vacation.
Scheduled vacation.
Yes, a scheduled vacation, yes. So, from there, they're basically saying, all right, well, here's what's going to happen. And once Cad Bane was there, they got into the conversation of what happened to Boba Fett's Tusken Raider tribe. And and I love this. They go into the details of admitting that no, it was us. We did it. We killed the tribe. And he thinks it was that Strider's gang, the Kintan Strider's gang that he destroyed. And they basically got rid of both groups so they didn't have to pay anybody. So, they played their cards in their hands very, very well.
Yeah, and I did like the comment that he made of, one, that, they were making us, pay
double.
And we got to watch our bottom line. But the other line was that, he thinks they did it. He destroyed them. In his mind,
they're done.
This case is closed.
Yeah. Case is closed. His business is done.
Yep.
And of course, the mayor says, keep the damage down to a minimum.
Did not pay to have my city leveled.
Yeah. Don't level it. Don't kill everybody, please, because I want to have a people to come back to.
Right.
So the Pike boss interjects, says that he's claiming that extreme force is needed to remove Boba Fett and his people from the sanctuary, and Bane's response was, I can draw him out. That's it. That's all he said. I can draw him out. Now, again, you got to remember from the last episode, one of the things that we talked about was Cad Bane has been around since the Clone Wars. So he is an older fellow, an older spry fellow. He's been in Clone Wars, he's been in Rebels. We've seen him throughout the Star Wars universe, all right? And he was trained by Jango Fett, and therefore Cad Bane trained Boba Fett. So, a lot of history. A lot of history. So if you've never seen any of the episodes of Clone Wars or Rebels with Cad Bane in it, go back and watch them because you'll see how ruthless Cad Bane really is. And I thought he was one of the greatest characters that they brought in for a bounty hunter slash murderer slash gun for hire. Okay, because it didn't matter what side he was playing for; he was out for his own thing. Okay,
What a bounty hunter's supposed to be.
right. Play both sides. More money that way. So from there we see the arrival of an X-Wing starfighter with its red decals. Red 5 standing by. Approaches Mos Eisley and descends upon Pelimoto's hangar. Lands
Red
in
5
there.
standing by.
Red 5 standing by.
Red
And,
5 standing by.
And Peli thinks that it's a new Republic officer, and she starts cleaning up her garage. She was
Don't put
like,
that there. What do you think they'll say if they see that?
they're gonna see something, and then they start throwing, and then she starts directing her droids to get rid of things and destroy things and throw things out and move things over here where they can't see it and cover things up. And it was R2. R2D2, and you just see the cockpit open up. Now, when I first saw the X-Wing land, obviously I'm like, okay, it's Luke. We know it's Luke. But you didn't see a head in the cockpit. You just saw R2.
No, it's still an understandable thought, though. He may have been
Yeah.
passed out and, leaning against the side or something. And,
Luke Skywalker passed out? No way. No way.
You never know. He may have had a little bit too much,
Some of that blue milk,
a little bit too much Yoda juice,
So, as we see nobody in it and R2 discussing things, we finally see Peli get up onto the ladder to welcome her new guest, and she sees that it is Grogu. And Grogu, R2D2 is asking where Din Djarin is, and to which she responds that he's not here. He's in Mos Espa, and she pulls Grogu out and starts to give him some food. Give him some food, so to speak, because he was hungry. But she also sees that he's wearing the chain shirt that Din Djarin got him, and JT just got a butt to the face.
Yeah, again. Yeah, cats.
Oh, those cats. See, this is why I don't have cats. They'd be all over the place. And I'm like, nope.
Oh, they're wonderful. They can just be a pain in the ass sometimes.
They really are sometimes. It's the only animal that I know of that can plot to kill you in your sleep. And still look cute doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dogs just plot to kill you while you're awake looking at them.
Yeah. So she gets Grogu out. She starts talking to him. And R2's just like, listen, I'm in a hurry.
Yeah,
I need to get out of here, So, as she pulls Grogu out, she's like, hey, he'll be fine. I'll get to him, no problem. Gives him some food, and he pretty much just starts eating left and right. And from there, we cut back to the sanctuary, and they're still discussing that their people are in position in all the different territories of Mos Espa. Because if you remember from, what was it, episode 3 or 4, I believe, they had the truce.
Say 3.
Where they would not get involved. They would stay out of their way, and Boba Fett would take care of the Pikes. And they tell them that what is it? The Gamorrean guards were at the starport, right? Kersantin was in front of City Hall, and the mods went to the workers' district. So you have there's their muscle aside from Din Djarin, spaced out to make sure that the families are keeping their end of the bargain.
Din Djarin during that time was off world, well, out of the city, trying to get troops, and he was
Right.
returning
He
from
went to
that.
Freetown and everything like that. But this is where Fennec Shan is discussing with them where everybody is. And we do see the mods going through the streets. You see them go through, you see Black Chrysanthemum, you see the Gamorrean guards, they acknowledge the mods. They're basically their eyes and ears.
And then you
And
hear the one line that as soon as you hear, you know exactly what's going to happen.
yes.
And that one line was, no matter how they come in, nobody can get to us without us knowing first.
Yes. Exactly.
And then a freaking robot walks through the door.
Yes, the droid.
Sorry.
8D8. 8D8 is the droid's name, if you remember. 8D8 was also one of the droids that was a part of Jabba's palace for quite some time, and he was also he wasn't on the sail barge, but
I want to say he was kind of like first generation protocol droid.
for them, yes,
Kind of.
yeah. He just didn't have the same programming that a protocol droid has.
Right.
So he comes in and reports that there's somebody here to meet with Fett. And when Boba Fett comes out, we see Cad Bane. And he says that he's there to negotiate for the Syndicate, and that if he pretty much, keeps doing what he's doing, he's gonna die. We're just gonna take out. And Boba Fett, with all his pride, says, "Nope, nope, bye bye." And Bane reveals that he interfered with Marshal Vanth and shot him, and states that he will only negotiate directly with the Syndicate's head. So Boba Fett flat out said, "You can go back to the Syndicate, and you can have them come back with their leader."
Well, and this was also when he revealed to Boba Fett that it was the Pikes
Yes.
that killed his Tusken Raider tribe.
Yes. And that was
when he grabbed the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, well, but that was to get under his skin.
Mm-hmm.
That was to use his newfound family as a way to piss Boba Fett off.
Yeah, use it against him, piss him off, get him out of his headspace and timing, and just to mess with him.
Now, the one thing that I do like is during this whole time, when he put his hands on the gun, on the barrel of the gun, he held it just like the original actor did in Return of the Jedi. Pulled it out, held it the way. Attention to detail.
Held it the way that you're supposed to hold a gun.
Well, yes.
You're not supposed to hold a gun like this, where your hands out. You put it underneath so you can pull it into you.
Right. And that specific gun, I mean, that's his original gun from Return of the Jedi. So it's not a full length rifle, but it's still one of those guns that fits right in, that he can hold it and has more control over. And it's a very powerful weapon. Very powerful weapon. So the fact that they paid so much attention to detail and matched the movements of that of the original actor from Return of the Jedi was amazing. I mean, that's research right there, okay? So from there, Fennec Shand says, "On your terms. They want you to do this. Don't do it." And that's when Cad Bane says, "You went soft."
Yep.
And the best response the Boba Fett said was, "Everyone does."
And that's the second time he's been accused of being soft. The first time, if you'll remember, was after he saved Fennec Shand.
Yes. Yes.
Fennec Shand told him that he had gotten soft.
She said, "You've gotten soft." which
Yep.
you could technically say, sure, he'd gone soft. But did he really?
Yeah.
Did he really? That's the thing. Maybe it's not that he's going soft. He learned a few things and went, all right, let's go from there. Now, at the same exact time, all of a sudden we're getting a call. You can hear the call coming in on the comms, and Drash is reporting that the locals turned on them.
Well, at first he's like, something's not right. Something doesn't feel right here.
Yes.
And like, he's like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, something just doesn't feel right. And right about that time, that's when they start pulling guns out of freaking water barrels and handing them out and everything. I'm
Yes. Yes.
ah, shit, here we
And,
go.
and that's the thing. It's like, okay, shit's hitting the fan. Here we go. This is gonna be interesting to say the least, because not only did the treaty that they established get broken, but now Boba Fett's trying to get in touch with Chrysanthemum, who is now fighting the Trandoshan family, which, by the way, the Trandoshans have a very, very big, long history with Wookiees. They hunt Wookiees for fun. And they scalp them and use their.
Are those the same ones that they use them for in the fight clubs where he gained all his popularity and everything and all
yes,
that stuff?
and he ripped the arms off in the sanctuary. Yeah, same exact ones. So he's getting attacked by them, and at the same time he's starting to get overrun by them. The Gamorrean guards, if you remember, were over in the spaceport.
That was messed up what happened.
Oh, that was so wrong. So the Gamorrean guards, you had, I don't know, how many would you say they were fighting off?
6.
Say 6?
Yep.
6 of the, what was it, the Klatooinian family. So the Klatooinians, their territory was in Mos Espa, was around the spaceport. And they basically pushed the Gamorrean guards off a cliff.
That was so wrong.
That was the worst. Don't get me wrong. We've seen some pretty interesting deaths when it comes to other alien races. I mean, we've seen the Rancor in Jabba's palace bite a Gamorrean guard and eat it. So we've seen that.
It was just so crazy. And the thing of it was, they paid so much attention to detail on this. That one guard just fell backwards.
Yep.
He didn't turn, he didn't spin, he just fell straight back.
The
other one was spinning and turning and screaming.
Yeah, and but not only that, the attention to detail of how they fell. I mean, you got to remember, they're at the spaceport, so they're at the top of this cliff.
Yeah. How far would you say that was? I mean, that was a hell of a fall.
That was a big fall.
I mean, what do you think? 60 stories, maybe?
Maybe more.
I mean, that was. You look at the size of the buildings relative to the top of the cliff. I mean, that's God.
Yeah.
That's a long way up, man, and that's a whole lot of time to have your life flash.
It's a long fall.
And all and think about all the shit these Gamorrean guards have been through.
Yes, they've been
from all the people that they worked for, and they have managed to live through all of it. All of Fennec Shane's people, or not Fennec Shane. Who was it that took the palace from Jabba? Or took over?
Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, all of Bib Fortuna's people got killed except those 2.
Who were also part of Jabba's crew.
Exactly. So they went through Jabba's crew, they went through his crew, and now they're with freaking Boba's crew.
Yes.
So they went through at least 3 different bosses.
Oh, absolutely.
And lived until now.
Until Boba Fett.
Poor guys. I mean, I feel bad for them. I do.
Yeah.
I think they should be reincarnated.
So from there, obviously now, Din Djarin and Fennec Shan and Boba Fett are getting pinned down from the Pike Syndicate because they're under fire. Cad Bane is pretty much just sitting back watching things happen. And at this point in time, they need to kind of divide and conquer. And one thing that they do is, they try to confirm where the Syndicate's base is, and the Major Domo, who is pretty much now working for Boba Fett. I mean, if you think about it.
Oh, he under protest.
Yes, under protest.
Under protest. We need to make sure that's clear. It's under protest because he's like, no, they don't opperate in Mos Espa.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
Mos
okay,
Eisley?
dumbass.
Yes. So Fennec Shan gets the answers that they need, and they find out that the mayor's base of operation is in Mos Eisley under the Desert Survey Office. That's where they are. That's where the Pikes are. That's what they need to do. So she goes to confront them. But at the same time, she's on her way to help the mods, who are now being pinned down by the Aqualish family. So
at least two were hit that I saw.
Yeah, two were hit, but they were okay. They weren't dead.
Right.
But they were hit, but they were completely pinned down. And at the same time, Black Chrysanthemum is, again, overrun until
they dogpiled his ass on the steps of City Hall.
well that, and they used axes on him. They were stabbing him like he was.
But he took out like 5 of them.
Yes. And threw
before
them.
They got to him.
He threw a couple of them. He kicked a couple of them.
And he put blaster or fucking rifle fire right in the middle of the chest of the other ones.
Yeah. So at that point in time, Fennec gets to the point where she's able to help them snipe some of the Aqualish family members. That way it lets the mods escape and retreat back to the sanctuary. But at the same time, the Syndicate's moving in. Boba Fett and Din Djarin, they're doing what they need to, and Boba Fett tells Din Djarin, go, leave. You're done. And he says...
Actually, he actually didn't tell him. He asked him, he says, so I suppose you'll be leaving now too.
Yeah. And he
no.
said no.
This is the way.
It was against his creed.
Yep.
So even though he was kicked out of his Mandalorian family,
he's still by the creed.
He's still going by the creed, and that it was against it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Now,
so, yep.
Question, real quick.
Answer.
Real quick question. Because Boba made the comment, do you really believe in that bantha fodder? Yes. And he said yes. And Boba said, good. So just to clarify, does Boba still basically live by Mandalorian law too?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. I didn't think so.
I want to say,
clarify that.
Welcome Raiders. Hello and welcome Raiders. Sim Trisha for the raid. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Valentine's Day. This is a Valentine's special of Avenger Pretenders, where we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7. So, spoiler alert.
They're not Tusken Raiders. They're Trisha Raiders.
Trisha Raiders. There you go.
Professor Kane says, wait, what episode are we talking about?
Number 7.
Number 7.
We're currently at the brink of all hell breaking loose in Mos Espa.
If you haven't seen this, Prof, I'm telling you, go away. Go away. You don't want spoilers for this episode. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Not to be rude at all. But I know you like this, so if you haven't seen it,
run
to the hill.
Run away.
He says, I am unsure.
He might have seen it. Listen, it was last Wednesday, so I get it if you may or may not have seen it, you know. But at this point in time, we're talking how Boba Fett and Din Djarin have this mutual respect for each other, and that Din Djarin has flat out said the only streamer to kick out viewers. LOL. Listen, spoilers.
And to
Spoilers.
answer
I
your
mean,
question, Professor Cone, yes.
yes. Okay. So yeah, we'll get into that. Yep. Absolutely. So he's good. He's seen it. Perfect.
and
So
Tricia, I'm only doing it for the good of the viewer.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. You know, I don't want to
anyway,
ruin anything for people, but if you haven't seen it by now, yeah. So so on the basis of honor, Fett agrees with Din Djarin and they do the whole honor thing. You know, the Mandalorian, the difference between the way the Mandalorians were brought up is amazing. You have one that believe one thing and one that believe another. So, at the same time, the Major Domo volunteers to go out, talk to the Pikes on Boba Fett's behalf, and he tells Boba Fett to write down some wonderful. What's the word I'm looking for here?
terms of surrender.
Yeah, terms of surrender. So basically, you know, they're outnumbered right now. They're outnumbered big time. But I loved what the Major Domo said. He goes, I studied on Coruscant.
Not that that makes me any better.
I studied on Coruscant, and I specialize in civic council negotiations. His exact words.
You're used to talking to people who don't have guns,
Yes.
butt face or tailhead.
Yeah. Tailhead. I loved how everybody was calling him Tailhead.
Let me ask you one thing real quick. As soon and as quickly as he did it,
Yes.
as soon as Boba Fett said, yes, give me your tablet so I can write it down what I want,
Yes.
did you knew?
Oh, I knew he wasn't giving up.
Yeah, okay, because I'm like, he turned too quick. There's no way this is a setup. This is a big time setup.
Absolutely. Lady Death says pompous ass. Very true. Very true. But we knew that. We knew that from episode 2.
He's a pompous ass and a scaredy cat at the same damn time.
Yeah. So the Major Domo goes out. He's, you know, talking to the Pikes and their soldiers, and he reads the terms that Fett wrote out, which are revealed to instead be a threat statement, and the Major Domo is about to be executed.
I offer you nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. So
You will leave and you will leave your spice.
as the Major Domo is now pretty much pissing himself because it's really what's going on. He's scared out of his mind now. The gun comes up, and all of a sudden, Boba Fett and Din Djarin are soaring through the sky with their jetpacks, and they start gunning down the entire syndicate that's around the town. And
I love the ambush. I love the ambush because the one place I didn't even think about it. The one place you don't expect it to come from
is the sky.
And even with the guys on the roofs are looking down.
Yeah.
Nobody expects it to come from above.
Right? And you're like, something's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There's a reason they're doing this. You can kind of expect the two of them going out and just starting to gun everybody down.
Like they basically said, we're both gonna go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. Like,
You know.
Butch and Sundance. That's what it was. Butch and Sundance.
There you go.
I just put it together. Holy crap.
At least it wasn't the two ladies in the car.
Thelma and Louise.
There you go.
Could have been.
Could have been. Yeah.
Could have been. So the Battle of Mos Espa has now grown exponentially from the point in time where everybody was getting pinned down to now they're being saved, and now we've got the fight right at the sanctuary, which is exactly where they wanted to keep the fight. They wanted to keep the fight where they were. They didn't
And
want to
it's
spread.
starting to go bad.
Starting to go very bad because the Pikes outnumbered them.
Ding, 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 ding. That's all you hear.
And
Ding, ding.
Professor Cohn says it nearly was Thelma and Louise. You're not wrong.
Very well. It was Thelma and Louise for the Gamoran guards.
Yeah, well,
Well, there's your Thelma and Louise.
well, that wasn't by choice, though.
It don't. It's still,
That
it
wasn't
follows the
by choice.
storyline. So
So, uh, and this was really cool because as you're seeing them take down the the Pike Syndicate, they're getting shot left and right, and it just goes to show how much the Beskar armor can really take because they're getting hit.
here's another thing that I really liked about this, because
Yeah.
a lot of times when you see somebody in armor and they get hit or something, it doesn't do shit to them. They were realistic in the fact that, yeah, they have armor on that these weapons can't penetrate,
Still hurts.
but it's still going to hit them. It's still a blast of freaking energy smacking you right in the damn shoulder. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to have some kind of physical body reaction to catching that bolt of lightning.
Sure.
So I really like the fact that how realistic they were about that.
Now,
That made me happy.
the other thing we got to mention is the marksmanship. Because the marksmanship was 10 times better than your regular Imperial Stormtrooper.
Well, it wasn't for a while.
Well, true.
For a while, they were worse than the Imperial Guards because they'd hit at least 1 in 10.
Yeah.
But
they were still
Boba and Benjarin took out 20 guys to their 2.
And I love that they were using all their tricks.
Yeah.
All the rockets that Boba Fett had on his knees, the ones that
the flechettes.
Din Djarin had on his wrist, his forearm, and then of course both of them using the blowtorches and whatnot. So you can tell the Mandalorians were using all the tools at their disposal that they needed. Now, obviously, they're getting pinned down, so it's getting a little bit harder for them. But then all of a sudden, a transport shows up, and it's the people from Freetown. Weren't expecting it. You really weren't. And Din Djarin apologizes for what happened to Marshal Vanth and tells them that they didn't need to come. But the bartender says they did. They did need to come. So now we're starting to see all the groups come back together. You got the people of Freetown who are taking out the Pike Syndicate. You got the mods coming. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just see Pikes go flying. And here comes Black
I busted out laughing.
Here comes Black Chrysanthemum. He had, 2 of them on him, and he was kicking and throwing the others. But with the damage that he sustained earlier on in the episode, I mean, again, stabbed, cut, an axe. You thought he was gone, and he just comes barreling through.
Whistling birds, that's what they're called. The whistling birds.
Whistling birds, okay.
That's the flechette weapon that Din Djarin had.
Yes, the whistling birds. Yep, you're right.
Yes. I couldn't think of the name of them. I had to look it up.
So here's Chrysanthemum, and now you can see Chrysanthemum's limping.
Mm-hmm.
He had all that damage to him, and all he's doing is limping. That just goes to show, 1, how badass he is, 2, how badass Wookiees really are, and 3, how much damage they can take and still keep going. So from there, we finally see everybody's back together, and they're driving the Pikes back, and then it's quiet. And Din Djarin just kind of looks around and goes, And you see him,
you could tell he's like, something's not right here.
Yeah, something's not right. And you see him hit his helmet, and his heat signature visor comes down. Right. And that's when he says, we're in trouble.
Just real quick, I like what was said, though, after, because BK a guy shot him in the back of the leg. He went down. Boba and Din Djarin both went out to get him, brought him back. Boba looked BK straight in the face and said, to be honest, I thought you were gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, was one, granted, one Wookiee, one badass Wookiee with freaking,
Oh,
electrical brass knuckles and all.
which was great.
I can understand. I thought he was dead.
I mean, he was utilizing those big time too.
Yeah, I mean, when the last thing you saw of BK was this dog pile
Yeah.
on top of him, I'm like, oh man, he's done.
You're like, no,
Uh,
not Black Chrysanthemum. They
they
just brought
couldn't
him
they
back into
couldn't
the
kill
main
they don't kill him
fold.
off. He'd actually kind of turned into one of my favorite characters in the series. He really had. And I was rather upset. You can ask Kay when he came around the corner, when I saw them pikes, or whatever the hell they were. When I saw them flying through and he comes around the corner, I was like, yeah, he's alive.
Yay! He did it! Yay! So,
Nikai, just admit it, you want all of the shit that
yeah,
BK had.
yeah. I was about to say, you want the armor, you want pretty much everything that you can think of when it comes to this show.
All the good stuff.
So, and the trouble turns out to be two giant Scorpionic droids. Now, if you don't know what the Scorpionic droids are, and the only reason why I know the name of this is because they were used very heavily in not just the comics, but also in Star Wars Rebels and basically anything after Return of the Jedi when it came to novels, comic books, TV series, all
Would
that
they
good
be
stuff.
would the small ones that they use like at the beginning of Clone Wars when
Yes, the
the
droid
Jedi's were
decals.
rescuing the Emperor? The I don't know if they call them scurriers or something, but they rolled up
Yep,
and
they're
then
very similar. So
okay.
so the Scorpionic droids are like the fourth or fifth rendition of it. They're bigger, their shields are stronger, their firepower is stronger.
They got some hellacious firepower, and I tell you what,
Yeah,
those clay walls in that city are badass.
yeah, and
I'm just saying.
when they see them, Boba Fett uses the missile off of his back, off of his rocket, his backpack there, and
Mhm.
you just see an explosion, and he's standing up and going, "Yeah, that took care of him." No,
Not
no, it didn't.
well, and I didn't think it would. Honestly, I didn't think it would because it was just a missile. And
Yeah.
these are two mechanical machines inside of very, very strong force fields.
Yes.
An explosion outside, it might wobble them a little bit, but it ain't gonna do anything else.
Right.
And I need to shut up so that we can get through this because we got a hard stop at 9.
Yes. So from there, we see Boba Fett and Din Djarin are going to attack the armored vehicle is destroyed that the folks from Freetown came in on, so they're running, and the goal is to protect them. You got to protect them, get them out of here, do whatever they need to do. So the two of them are going back and forth, but they're not causing any damage. The shields are too strong. They're doing what they need to do, and it's just not working. It's not working for them.
I think at most they were doing it because it would draw the attention away from the people that they told to run.
Yes. So from there, Boba Fett says, "No, you stay here, protect the people," and he leaves.
I need to get reinforcements.
Got to get reinforcements. He's gone. We don't know where he is. And to be honest, when you're watching it, you're like, "Oh, okay. Simtrisha's got to go. Bye, Simtrisha. Feel better. Thank you for the raid once again. We appreciate it as always, my buddy." So now you're watching this going, wait a minute, where the hell are they gonna get reinforcements from?
Same thing Din Djarin said.
Now, at first, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? He was part of the Sand People clans. Maybe he was going to go and get a clan that maybe might have been right outside of Mos Espa,
Right? Maybe they
whatever.
would help because of his
Sure,
relation with the others. That's
sure.
a thought. That's
It's
a
a
thought.
thought.
I had no idea. I was like, where the hell is he going?
And at the same time, I'm saying to myself, and Lady Death just confirmed that I thought he was getting Tusken Raiders. And Sim Trisha says, "Love you guys. Happy Love Non-Love Day." Thank y'all. You too. So at this point in time, now it's just Din Djarin taking on 2 Scorponeks. But now they decide, listen, we got to divide and conquer. So the people go one way and lead one Scorponek in a different direction, and Din Djarin's trying to take out the other. And they're basically going, all right, we need to take care of this. We need to get rid of them. And Moto arrives with a cart, going, hey, hi, how's it going?
I got a surprise for you. Look who's here. And he's like, turn around.
Turn around, get out of here. And this is before the Scorponek even turns the corner, so she doesn't even see what's going on. So he jumps on, and they're gone. They're just gone. And the Scorponek follows them and starts giving chase, and that's when they find out, hey, this thing's following us. Crap. The mods and the people from Freetown, they're on I would say it was probably like a destroyed house, right? Give or take, maybe like a courtyard or something. But there were walls. There were doors. Maybe like an old restaurant or something like that for that area. Had a roof, but it was destroyed. So shit's been going down. Drash and Joe make their way to a nearby rooftop in order to snipe the Pike Syndicate, basically on the other side of the street. So they were able to start picking people off. And this way, it was a way to distract the Scorponek. Now, with that being said, we already know Moto is around. She's got the droids with her. She's got a cart. And Grogu! And this is the greatest conversation ever. Because Grogu jumps in his arms. Hey, buddy, missed you too. You need to sit down.
Yeah, we kind of have an issue here. So you sit here, just stay here, stay undercover until everything's okay.
Yeah, and it's funny. So I've already seen a lot of memes that are out there where the when they do that freeze frame of an action scene. And, hey, this is me. Let me tell you how I got here. Like that whole thing. I've seen plenty of those so far with this scene. It was great.
How did we get to this point? Well,
my name's
to explain
Grogu.
That, we have to go back to here.
My name's Grogu, and let me explain to you how I got here. I want to say hi to Becky, who's watching on Facebook, as well as Mark, Helen, Cookie, Lori, Chuck, Kate, and Dawn, and of course Heather. Hello, thank you for tuning in already. If you haven't watched the Book of Boba Fett, well, spoilers, we're almost done. So basically the tides are turning and the droids shoot the cart down. They roll and do whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear a roar. But not just any roar. Oh, no. The greatest thing to ever hit Star Wars. Boba Fett riding his Rancor.
I thought it was Godzilla. The way they brought him in, because all you saw, the Star Wars version of the Loch Ness Monster, because all you saw was the back.
It was great.
A little bit of the back as it went like that.
It was great. And the best part is all you see is the hand just come up over the buildings and pulls himself up. And there he is, the Rancor with Boba Fett sitting on him. And I'm like, yes.
I was like, oh, shit, I totally forgot about that.
I was geeking out so bad. I really was. I'm like, this is awesome.
I was even geeking out, if that says anything.
Now, remember something, guys. The Rancor is a juvenile. It's not even fully grown. That's a juvenile Rancor. It's huge. Huge.
It's a big baby right there.
So now you've got the Rancor facing off against a Scorponek with Boba Fett riding him, and Din Djarin, who now takes out the dark saber and starts slicing off the gun turrets. And then the best part is Grogu uses the Force to pull a bolt out of the droid's leg, causing it to fall down.
I love the squeal.
He catches the thing and goes flying.
And the lady's like,
Are you
Where'd you go?
okay?
kind of
was-
says
It
geekgasm.
was so cool. So they finally destroy one of the Scorponeks, and then they go, "Hey, we're not done. We're not done." So Boba Fett and the Rancor go to find the others to take care of that Scorponek. And whoo, as soon as those Pikes see that Rancor, man, oh, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I'm saying to myself, here you go. You got this Rancor who's picking up the Pikes, throwing them, stomping on them, kicking them. Boba Fett shooting them, doing whatever they need to do. And I'm like, why doesn't it just eat one? And sure enough, eats the Pike. And I'm like,
And just before that, he did my favorite part was where the Pike tried to hide behind the column.
yeah,
he
he
just
grabbed him.
Grabbed the column and him, and he's like, "Ah."
It was great.
I mean, the one that he threw, that dude flew like 12 city blocks.
Oh, he went flying.
All you heard was, "Ah."
Went flying.
It was awesome.
But unfortunately, that was short-lived.
Yes.
And it was short-lived because of Cad Bane. Cad Bane gets him to the point where he attacks the Rancor, and the Rancor knocks Fett off him and runs. So then it comes down to Bane versus Boba Fett.
Who would ever thought that Rancor was part Frankenstein?
Right?
Afraid of fire.
Or afraid of fire. Who would have thought? You know? So Bane admits that he doesn't understand why Boba Fett is doing what he's doing. He doesn't understand it. And Boba Fett flat out says, I'm not abandoning the city or its people. They're my people. This is my home. You're on my turf. No. So then Bane tries to do the whole thing with the Tusken Raiders. And Boba Fett's like, no. No. And that's when Cad Bane says, well, you know what? I may be old, but I'm still faster. Armor or no armor.
He'll kick your ass.
And he does. He's fast. He's a fast
Yeah.
draw. Which this is where Robert Rodriguez does a great job in showing that old spaghetti western shootout at the OK Corral type of thing. Okay? Because it is pretty much a duel in the desert. So it's a cowboy movie / TV show where you have these outlaws going after each other. And Robert Rodriguez understands that type of thing. I would do the same thing. Would do the same thing. It gets to the point where Cad Bane gets Fett down. He's still shooting him. It's pinging off his armor. And of course, calls him a killer. Just like his father was. He used the dad card. Then he takes off Boba Fett's helmet, but before he can do anything, Boba Fett takes that gaffy stick and knocks him down and impales him.
I knew you were a killer.
Yup.
I was like, yeah.
He got
And
his
then I go,
revenge.
I was like, yeah, all right. And then I go, poor Sully.
Why poor me?
Because you love Cad Bane.
Well, but that's the thing. He's a great character. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, he's obviously left for dead on the street. But did he really die?
Dude, he stuck that through his heart.
But did he?
Well, I don't know where their heart is, but I would assume
I mean,
it's
he's
like
already
around
got
the center of their
modifications to him where, he's partially a cyborg. So, anything's possible.
True.
Anything's possible. And most people will probably go, well, they stabbed him in the heart with that gaffy stick. He's dead. Yes, right now. But then again, we also saw Mace Windu's hand get chopped off and he got thrown out of a window, yet we don't know where he is. He may be dead, he may be alive. You never saw a body. So anything can happen. Anything. Big Tank says, okay, I'm calling season 2 is going to be the comeback of the Pikes, and they're going to be like a Hydra monster. You cut off one head, 2 more rise. We'll see. The Pikes are pretty big. But at the same time, a message was already sent. And we'll get there. So, in the rest of the city, the Rancor is now on a rampage. Rancor is doing a rampage. He's going across the streets. And, people are shooting it. Because they're like, oh, it's a Rancor. They don't know it's Boba Fett's. They just know it's a Rancor. And Din Djarin's like, no, stop. Don't do it. You're going to get it worse. And he passes off Grogu to Motto just to get him to safety. Make sure you watch him. I gotta do this. And the Rancor's, they're going one-on-one, and the Rancor's trying to eat him.
That was so funny. He's like, how?
Big Tank says the Rancor is having a temper tantrum. Yeah, because they're shooting him. And at the same time,
he was scared. His owner's gone. He's got people shooting at him.
Right.
People shooting fire at him.
And at the same time, he's just a juvenile Rancor, so his master's not around. So, yeah. But then gets to the point where Din Djarin gets on his back. He's trying to get control of him, and he gets thrown off. And after,
gets planted on top of the building and then gets slammed by the Rancor.
Yeah, and the Rancor's trying to do a little chompy chomp because he's hungry. But Grogu escapes Motto's grasp and stands before the Rancor. You see this little guy up against this Rancor, and he just, starts protecting him, and he uses the Force.
I love this scene.
He uses the Force to put the Rancor to sleep, and then
curls up and goes to sleep next to him.
Falls asleep right next to him. He's cute and adorable.
After he petted him into a good boy.
Okay. He petted his nose and did whatever, and then he fell down next to him and fell asleep. Which we've noticed, the more he uses the Force, the more he does that. And we knew that since The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2, but now you can see he's using more and more of the Force, so it's causing him to do that. And then, of course, the Major Domo helps Din Djarin up, and the people are cheering, and there's a celebration going on, and it's wonderful, but things are not done yet.
I assume no barbecue.
No barbecue.
Love that line.
No barbecue. Sorry, no barbecue. Not for that baby Rancor. He's cute and adorable. Cute and adorable. So we cut to the Mos Eisley Desert Survey Office, and the Syndicate Enforcer is basically saying, okay, we're retreating. We're out of here. We're going to be leaving. And the various heads of the family start to leave.
Question.
Answer.
Did Fennec Shan just totally go over here?
We're talking about that right now.
What? No. I mean, in your head, did Fennec Shane all of a sudden go over here while all this other stuff was going on? I totally forgot about Fennec Shane.
Yeah, no. I knew it was happening, and I remember it happening because that's how she saved the mods. Mm-hmm. So you're like, all right.
But after that, I forgot about it.
Shit's going down.
I totally forgot about her after she saved the mods and took off.
Yeah.
Just
So here you go. You've got the Pike leaders there. You got the Syndicate there. You've got all the family leaders there, and the Pike leader points out that half his people have been gunned down or eaten by a Rancor, and breaks their contract. He's done. Conditions on Tatooine are he was promised the conditions were going to be hospitable, and that's when we start hearing some blaster fire. And for that, we see some very interesting things happen. Oh, yes. Guards are getting killed, faction leaders are getting shot down, and Mok Shay's attempts to flee but then gets
My favorite part.
he gets hung.
he, he, he gets gaffy sticked, literally gaffy stick from the ceiling.
He gets hung. He
You
did.
see his feet and you hear,
Yep.
and his feet stop moving.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Uh,
Beautiful. Poetic freaking justice.
So the syndicate leader's firing blindly now, can't see anybody, and from behind, Fennec Shand stabs him and destroys the exit to the front door and leaves. So from there, we see some interesting things happening. Fett and Shan are walking the streets of Mos Espa, and people are bowing in respect for Boba Fett for saving Mos Espa, and the town. All the people in the town are helping to fix everything, which is great. Again, just like an old school spaghetti western.
And favorite line, because he asked, do we really have to bow? She's like, it's better than shooting at you.
Yes.
They had some great one-liners.
They
throughout
really
this entire
did.
series.
They really did. And the funny thing is, as the people of Mos Espa were bowing to him as in respect, he was doing it in return. So it wasn't even just that, hey, bow to me, I saved your town. It was, no, thank you. Like,
Mutual show of respect.
yeah, like, no, you're my people. You're my people. My job is to protect you. So, and I think that's one of the things that they didn't understand. Well, that the Hutts didn't understand, because the Hutts are gangsters. They rule with an iron fist and they rule with fear. But Boba Fett didn't want to do that. He wanted
Back
to
to the
rule.
very first show.
Yeah, he wanted to rule with respect. The people,
And he does, and he got that
right, and he finally got it. And at the same time, they're saying to as they're walking, he says, Fennec Shan goes, I think you need to go in your back to tank because his arm was hurting him.
Thin use.
Yeah, well, and then he says, yeah, it's currently being used at the moment. And at first, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if it's being used, he did mention to Black Chrysanthemum that he needs to get in the back.
I owe you a long stay in my back to tank.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I thought. But as it's going through,
here he comes around the corner.
He comes walking around the corner, and kids are coming up to them, giving them fruits, and out of respect, and all of a sudden, and the mods and the rat catcher, they all meet up in the street, and they're talking, and that's it. That's all they really do. And then it cuts to Din Djarin in his Nubian starfighter with Grogu. And this was the cutest thing. This was the cutest thing ever.
Awesome.
And don't get me wrong. Grogu's had some moments. He really has. He's had some moments that were just freaking adorable.
Oh, when he went to sleep on the rock after he destroyed the training droid.
Yes. Falling asleep on the rock, falling asleep after healing somebody, they pushing the buttons in the Razor Crest and annoying Din Djarin.
Stealing the shifter knob.
Stealing the knob, which, by the way, Din Djarin did give him. He gave it back to him because that was the only thing left of the Razor Crest. But
hold this till I get back.
But that's the best part is here's this Nubian starfighter. You have Din Djarin flying, and Grogu is in the back where a astromech droid would be, which is now a seat for him.
Right.
And all you see is just, I'll show you. There you go. Here's all you see. You see this little guy, and he starts banging on the glass with the controller ball.
You notice that each one, if you count them, each one he hits it one more time. Each time he does it.
Yes. Every single time he hits it. I think the first time it was like 3 times.
3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
And he keeps adding one every single time.
Wrong hand. Other hand.
And Din Djarin is just like, no.
Nope.
No. I'm not doing it. No. And then the last time he finally goes, all right, this is the last time. Flips the switch to go super fast. And you hear Grogu, and you just see a big smile on his face, and he's squealing. which was adorable. It was adorable
Beautiful.
because think about it. That's what little kids do.
Well, and you think about it, you just got done with this 45-minute long freaking battle that went all the way across the city. You gotta throw some comedy in there,
Yeah.
you know.
Big Tank, are we there yet? Right? Right? And don't get me wrong, in this case, he doesn't have a Razor Crest. He only has this. So there's not much he would be able to do when it comes to being a bounty hunter. But at the
Right.
same time, we're not done because, yes, even though we show the credits, did you stay until after the credits?
No, but I stayed till the mid credits.
Okay, well, that's good too. Because the mid credits
Actually, I did stay till the end too.
makes sense. So there was a mid credits scene. And if you didn't watch, at first you got to remember the back to tank. My back to tank's being used at the moment. So the question is, who's in the back to tank? Could it be Cad Bane? Maybe.
No.
But,
no.
well, got to
No,
remember.
I can't see Boba putting him in there. Even though he was family and all, I still can't see him doing
exactly. So you have that. But then you see Cobb Vanth in the back to tank, still alive, being healed. And now you see the mod artist who saved Fennec Shand with tools in hand, ready to go. So we know we're going to see Cobb Vanth once again, which is going to be
Saw that,
phenomenal.
and I turned and I looked at Kay and went, "Oh shit!"
Yep. So we're going to see some interesting things happen in The Mandalorian Season 3 and most likely the Book of Boba Fett Season 2 if they do a Season 2. We don't know if they're going to yet.
They've got to. I can't see them not.
Yeah. So
I
all
really
in all,
can't. With this series, I can't see them not doing that.
all in all, excellent writing. Cinematography was fantastic. Great episode. It was a great episode. So now the question becomes, how many helmets do you give it, JT? 5.
5 helmets.
We finally got a 5.
And I knew it was coming. I just didn't know if they were going to be able to pull it off in the last episode. But with the way that they integrated everything and the way that they spread it around and then brought everything back together at the end was beautiful.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I was only sitting at a 4 3/4 until the mid-credit scene.
Gotcha.
The mid-credit scene, the way they ended it, perfect.
Lady Death says 15 helmets. Loved it all.
Yeah, this was an amazing episode. What about you?
So for me, I am right there with you. 5 helmets. 5 helmets, hands down. Great episode.
And for the same reasons.
Oh, absolutely. This wasn't just a tie to Star Wars. It wasn't.
Right. No,
you had
multiple branches.
You had your nods, you had your callbacks, you had everything, but it was so well written, so well researched, so well tied into the Star Wars galaxy. And mind you, this is just Tatooine. We've seen Tatooine many, many times, but we've never really seen the depth of how the criminal underworld works in any of these shows.
We've seen Tatooine, but we've never seen Tatooine.
Right. Yes, we know about Mos Eisley. Yes, we know about Mos Espa, but we didn't go into the details of Mos Espa. Yeah. It was just, hey, we're passing through. This was, no, we're here. This is where the story is going to take place. Yeah, we're going to go off on a tangent a little bit, but it's going to lead to what we're going to be doing later on. So it worked. It worked hands down. Big Tank says, everyone that has complained about the cinematography don't know anything about shooting movies and TV shows. I will absolutely 100% agree with you on that. I will. They think they know, but they don't. If they're not trained in it, like me, I'm just saying, if it's just, it is what it is, they don't get it. And everybody is a critic. Everybody's a critic. And their biggest complaint was they left off with, they ended the episode with Din Djarin and Grogu flying off. Well, duh, Mandalorian season 3 is coming up. So yeah,
it's a nice lead out to it.
It's a beautiful lead out to it, and
there's so many questions on that. I mean, Grogu's got just one big question. Grogu's got the armor.
Yes,
we did not see the lightsaber, but I thought I saw a glimpse of it. But
I'd
I'm
have
not
to go back.
positive. So, did he turn his back?
I don't know. We'll see.
That's the biggest question that came from all of that.
We'll see what happens in Mandalorian season 3. So overall, for the entire series, what do you give it?
Well, here's the kicker. K gave it 5 helmets.
Ooh.
A gave it 5 helmets.
Nice. Lovely.
I also have to give this 5 helmets.
Absolutely.
On the first 6, I was at a 4.
Yes.
4.25 at the most on the first 6 episodes. It was good. It was really good, but it wasn't quite at that great level.
Yeah.
But the way they did everything in this last episode blew it off the freaking charts. Took it straight to a 5 without question.
Hands down. It was that damn good.
Yes, it was.
All right, folks.
Without question.
That is this series of Avenger Pretenders, Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7. We've completed it. Yay!
What are we doing next?
Well, the next one we do have Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be starting in May. We also have Moon Knight coming up as well. So we got a couple of different shows that are coming out all back to back. So it's going to be
Is Moon Knight a movie or a series?
It's going to be a series on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's about the character Moon Knight from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Tomorrow's show, the Sully Show, is not going to be live. We're not going to be doing a show. I have to DJ, so I will not be here. However, if I get it working correctly, I'll be doing a nice little replay. Replay. Nice cool. Replay. A best of show. Maybe the best of show that I've been trying to play. I just never got a chance to do.
This the one that's got the colonoscopy episode?
No, this one doesn't. No.
Okay.
This one doesn't. This one's just a lot of bits and whatnot. So if I can get it working correctly, that's what we're going to be showing tomorrow. So with that being said, thank you.
I got to say one more thing, Solid.
Yep. Hurry up.
This was my favorite series that we have reviewed. Of all the ones that we have done, this was my favorite.
He destroyed it. Big Tank says, just do a Thursday show. If I can, I will. Can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee it. So with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in for Avenger Pretenders. We're going to be going on a little bit of a hiatus for Avenger Pretenders until the next show starts. However, the Sully Show will be back live next week. Look for the replay of the best of show tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. I promise. It's going to be awesome. We will see you guys later. Thank you and goodbye. And everybody says, night, everybody. Okay, we are going to do a raid. Let's see who is on.
Oops.
I like Big Tank. You got to stop at 9, a hard 9. Yeah, well, you know what? Conversations happen. Let's see here. Who is live tonight?
We tried.
We did try. There was just.
I kept interjecting too much, and I tried to stop myself, but there's things I had to say.
That's all right. We are going to give Wicked Little Thing a raid. She is live tonight, so let's go give some love to Wicked Little Thing. She's my buddy, my pal. She's playing Dying Light 2, Stay Human. So we will see you guys next week for the Sully Show on Tuesday. I may be able to do some game streaming on Monday. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, for JT, say goodbye, JT. He muted himself.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, they didn't hear you say goodbye. So we will see you guys next week. Have a happy Valentine's Day to everybody who celebrates it. And we will see you guys next week. Goodbye, everybody. So long, farewell, and thanks for all the fish.